My name's Ron. I live just north of northern Indiana. Let's leave it at that. Uh, and I guess I'll start with my chickens going missing. I think I had about 8 or 9 chickens, maybe 10 at that time. I don't quite remember. Um, but two of them went missing and we couldn't figure it out. We had tracks in the backyard. Me and Josh, not sure. I'm not a tracker, so we're not sure what it was. Maybe canine, maybe not. But they were big, so I'm gonna guess they were probably canine. Because I mean, I don't think we have any cats in Indiana, at least as far as we know of. Uh, but we have foxes and coyotes and coy wolves, I think now too. So it went over the fence. I think we tracked it back to the little. I have this little easement, I guess you would call it, between me and my neighbors. I live kind of in a suburban country setting, I guess you would call it, where it's in the country, but it's suburban at the same time. It's like a weird setting in between. So we have land with a neighborhood as well, kind of. And we have an easement where we all take care of the easement or whatever. But there's prints that went in that easement area and then over the fence and then to my chicken coop. So me and Josh tracked him over there, and then we just kind of left it as it is what it is. Well, my nephew came over maybe like 2 or 3 days later after that, and he at that time I had my dog Soldier, and Rocky. Soldier's been put down, but at that time we still had him. He let him outside to go to the bathroom, and he was out there with them. And he said that he saw something in the back in the easement. At that time, I didn't have surveillance cameras up at my house, but he said he saw something back there. I don't know. I wasn't there, so that's just what he said. But my dog Rocky normally goes back there to poop. That's his pooping area, is in that little easement by the fence. But he wouldn't go back there. That's what my little nephew said. So then he called the dogs in. He went back inside. Fast forward a little bit, maybe a day or two after that, my son said that he saw a bear outside the window, and we don't have bears as far as I know of. But he said he saw a bear. I don't know. Again, I wasn't there. I can't. My son just doesn't say things like that. He never did before, and he hasn't since. So it doesn't make any sense or why he would lie, or imagine something like that, because he just doesn't. He doesn't have imaginary friends. He doesn't do any of that imaginary stuff. But he said he saw a bear outside the window. For the next couple of days, I kind of tried to stay up and see if I can see anything. I didn't see anything, but then I guess a day or so later, we had more chickens go missing. So now I'm up to like 4 or 5 chickens out of my 8 that I had. So now I'm down to 2 chickens. So at this point, I'm really, really irritated at this point, because the chickens are like $10 to $20, a chicken. So that's pretty expensive. So now at this time, I'm livid. So so me and Josh we go probably about a mile or so tracking the prints back. Again, I'm not a tracker, but it looked like canine prints. So we tracked it for about a mile until they went across private property, which we don't have access to. And, you know, we live in Indiana, and you don't want to go treading on people's property. You might not, you might not be okay. And he was asking for descriptions, and which I skipped over that. I might want to go back. I saw a big black dog. Before that, I'm not sure it was on all fours. I'm not calling it a Dogman or anything, because it was just a black dog. Something that moved really fucking. It was quick, and because I tried to cut it off with my car because I was pissed. I was gonna shoot it because it was just, you don't kill people's livestock, and so I was gonna kill it because I know there's no black dogs in my neighborhood. No one has black dogs. Black dog. I'll say it was maybe less than my waist on all fours, maybe about my waist. I'm not good at judging height. I'm not gonna say I'm some avid outdoors. I'm not good at. I'm not good at that stuff. I would say probably about my waist on all fours. So it was a pretty big dog. I'm 5'8", so I would say, what do you say? Probably about maybe 3. My torso isn't very tall, so I'm mostly legs. About 3.5 feet, 4 feet, something like that. Maybe about 3.5 feet, 3 feet. So it's a pretty big dog on all fours, and it moved really, really, really quickly. Like I said, and then I explained that to the cop as well, and he was like, "Well, black dog? What type of black dog?" And I couldn't give him any description other than it being a black dog. It was a pretty black dog. It's a really black dog, and it's, I can't even describe the black. Well, I can't even describe the black. It was just black, like black as sin. Like it is like black. It was just black.
Blacker than Soldier?
Oh yeah, way blacker. Like Soldier, you can like see his features like that black. It was a really black dog, like the blackest dog I've ever seen, or blackest thing I've ever seen in my life. That type of black.
African black.
Yeah. And I didn't see no growling or anything, or hear no growling, or it didn't turn at me, and it was just gone. Like I saw it, like I was coming, I saw it, and I immediately tried to kill it. I was gonna kill it because I knew exactly that was probably what was killing my chickens.
And what was weird about what happened to your chickens? Like, did it eat the chickens there?
No.
And how many chickens did it take at one time?
See, what was weird was the first 2 times it didn't eat the chickens. It just took the head of the chickens. It didn't fully eat the chickens. It just took the head of the chickens. I don't understand. Like or things that eat stuff, it'll eat like the entrails of the, it'll eat the good parts. It just took the head of the chickens. The second time that happened, we were following, I think we were looking at the piles of feathers, and like I said, we went like a mile, almost a mile, maybe just under a mile, and it was like eating the chickens as it was moving, which made no sense unless it was a pack.
Well, how many did it take?
What was it, like 3, 4?
At one time?
Yeah, at one time it was like 3 or 4. But we only had one pair of tracks. That's what didn't make any sense. And unless it got a really big mouth and it had like the 4 chickens in the mouth. And what was weird, it was eating the chickens as it was going, because we were finding the pile of feathers as we were going. And that's the weird part.
Yeah.
It just didn't make any sense unless there was multiple like coyotes or foxes. We got foxes too, but the size of the paws didn't equal up to a fox. A fox has like tiny tracks. They're small. It had to be a wolf or a coy wolf or something like that, but or not a wolf, a coyote or maybe a coy wolf. But it don't make any sense because we only had one pair of tracks, and it was bipedal, so it was on all fours. Not bipedal, it was on all fours. Yeah. So it just don't make any sense. It just don't make. It just makes no sense. And ever since we put up I got surveillance. We put up surveillance cameras around my house. We haven't had any problems.
Yeah.
No problems at all. Actually, chickens are fine. I probably bought, and I have about 12 chickens, 13 chickens now. We haven't lost any of them. So it just don't make any sense. Why putting up surveillance cameras and now I don't lose any chickens?
Yeah. Yeah. You think of anything else that you want to add?
Other than we got a pretty strong like coyote, or at least we're presuming it's coyote problem. In northern Indiana right now, a lot of packs going around. I'm just, logical. I'm gonna say that that's what it was, because that's the only thing I can.
Yeah, reason enough.
Yeah, it's coyotes, but what doesn't make sense is it took 4. It might have been 5. I'm not sure, because it's been so long ago. Because this happened a couple years ago. I can't really remember. It might have been 5, but I just don't see a coyote doing that. I don't know. It just don't make any sense.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we're gonna end it there, and I'll try and get some more stories like this, because I know you guys like these kind of stories. There'll probably be some more from Ron. Like I got a few ghost stories, like from people from places I've worked and people that work there, and I think Ron has a few ghost stories.
Yeah, I mean, nothing like too weird. I mean, I guess like when I was younger, I have a.
We'll pick that up.
Yeah.
On another video, but all right, guys, like and subscribe, and if you like these videos, comment. Let me know what you think.
Yeah.
Shalom.
So we started heading back to my house, and we had a SUV or so kept like following us, but more not really following us, keeping in front of us, but keeping pace with us, like moving to I don't know, like driveway to driveway. And what's funny is at that time, we saw one sheriff go by. He kind of slowed down, looked at us, waved at us, kept going, and then we got up kind of close to the SUV. It pulled out and then moved further down again, and then it moved again, and then we saw a jogging lady jogging. And when the lady saw us, or we got up to them, she turned around and like full out sprint like away from us. And
didn't the SUV stop and talk to her before we ever got up there?
yeah, well, that's what I mean. They were sitting there talking, and then all of a sudden they she just turned and then sprinted away from us. And we're like, what the hell? You know, I said something that was weird, and then Josh agreed, but we just kept walking and walking and walking, and then finally we got to the second bend, because how my neighborhood is, it's a big square, and then you walk out to the main road, and then you make a right on the main road, and you can walk down. There's a bend, and then you keep walking maybe, I don't know, a quarter of a mile. There's another bend, and then it's straight down till you get to a main road that goes into a large town, northern town in Indiana. But like I said, we got past the first bend. That's where we encountered the SUV. And then, like, in the middle of, in between the two bends is where the jogger was. She took off. So we got to that last bend before you make the left into my neighborhood. Well, we make that left into my neighborhood, and then we get about maybe halfway down the street till you make a right to my house. Well, we turn back, and I see a cop, another deputy, go by. He then slows down, and I see his reverse lights come on. So I kind of pick up the pace. Well, me and Josh, I say something to Josh, we kind of pick up the pace a little bit, and because we're close by my house. Well, we get to my house, and then I turn around, and then the cop was slowing down, so I immediately step onto my property, and I kind of motion for Josh to kind of get back onto the property as well, because if something happened, I'd rather it happen on my property, and then we can, you know, whatever happen, we're on my property. Well, the cop immediately asked if we were armed, and you know, I kind of jokingly said, but I wasn't jokingly, said it's Indiana. Everybody's armed. But I was being serious at the same time. And he asked if we had our gun permits, and I said yeah. And I think Josh had gave him his gun permit, but I did not give him mine. I just showed him my ID. It was like, well, I'm on our property. Well, then he ended up loosening up a little bit, and he was asking why we.
Before that, he almost drew.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say he had his gun. Well, he didn't have his gun out. He put his hand on his gun like he was gonna draw, and he took a defensive posture.
Because he asked if we were armed, and I was like, "You said what you said." And I was like, "Well, yeah." And then he was like, for an instant, freaked out.
And you know, when I saw that, me and Josh are, you know, military, ex-military. So I took a defensive step to the side, because I knew that, you know, if he was going to engage, he would engage Josh first, because he's closest. So I took a step to the side, because I knew if something was going to happen, he was probably going to shoot Josh. So he wasn't going to get a shot on me. I was going to prison, unfortunately. So and that's how it was going to be. But thank God it didn't come to that. He was actually ended up being a pretty cool guy. Afterwards, because he was asking us what we were doing, because they were getting calls that there were suspicious people walking around, which, I mean, wasn't like we were suspiciously walking. We were just walking. Wasn't like we were like stopping and, you know, going on people's property. We literally was walking on the side of the road. And on a county road, you know, everyone jogs. It wasn't like there's normal people not using that road, or people use that road to walk and jog all the time. You know, it's just, it's a predominantly white neighborhood. I'm just gonna throw that out there. You know, I've never had that really happen to me, where I was just like stopped primarily because they were suspicious activity going on, which I didn't know walking was suspicious. But I mean, we weren't dressed in all black or anything. It was in the middle of the day. We were wearing brightly colored clothes. Well, at least I was. I'm not sure what Josh was wearing that day. I think he was wearing something bright.
Right. Yeah.
I was wearing a red a red shirt actually, pretty bright shirt.
I think it was our business shirt.
No, I was wearing a striped red shirt, a red shirt. So I wasn't wearing our business shirt. But the thing is you know, he was like, yeah, it's suspicious activity and blah blah blah, and it just didn't make any sense.
Well, the first thing he said though was when he first got out, he's like, we been getting calls of you guys walking around. The first thing I was like, it's not illegal.
And then then he asked, you know, for the gun, you know, gun stuff, and then I was like, yeah, like I live here. And he was like, live where? I was like, right there. Like I pointed right back at my house, and I was sitting actually in my yard. Like I said, I was probably maybe 6 steps inside my yard. So there was no. I made sure that I was on my property. But you know, it's just kind of one of those things. Like, you know, I've never been profiled before. I don't know if that would be considered profiling. I guess that would be considered profiling. I've never been profiled before. It kind of pissed me off. Not kind of. It really pissed me off more than my chickens being killed. You know, especially, you know, once he realized, because he took my ID and he looked at it, and I think he kind of realized he fucked up. And, you know, then he started asking about, you know, what we were doing, and I told him that we were tracking an animal that killed my chickens.